High Sheriff of Norfolk County. And Michael, thank you for all of your work. And, you know, there's a lot of issues that we talk about in the public, but there are many hours that we work with each other on the phone behind the scenes, and Michael has given me great guidance, particularly the issue of addiction. And I'm grateful for that, grateful for your work in the county, so thank you. Reverend Clergy, Father Lou, Madam President, members of the City Council, Vice Chair Begoli, members of our school committee, Auditor Rump, Justice Colvin, members of our state delegation, Majority Leader Mariano, Senator Keenan, Representative Ayers, Representative Chan, Registrar McDermott, Wilma Mayers, Walter Hannon, Jim Sheets, both amazing guys and leaders in their time, citizens of Quincy and friends all. Before I begin my formal remarks, I just want to take a moment to say a couple of thank yous. Thank you to my wife, Christine, my children, Cornelius, Tom, and Abigail. Cornelius is away at school, his second year at St. Joe's, doing quite well. And my twins, Abigail and Tom, are seniors this year at North Quincy High School. And those of us that are in public life understand the demands and the hours and commitment, and it does have an effect on the family. So to you, to my mother who's watching at home, if Tom Brady can say hi, Mom. I can say hi, Mom. And my entire family, thank you for putting up with it. To my staff, outstanding staff, to my department heads, department managers, thank you for your dedication and loyalty to our city. It's an incredible honor to serve as the mayor of this great city. And I've been blessed with wonderful parents, supportive family, and loyal friends. I've also had the opportunity to learn from so many remarkable people over the years. Today I'd like to say a special thank you to a couple of individuals, two outstanding public servants. I had the privilege to learn from them and watch them. They're members of the greatest generation. Robert E. Floyd III. He's a World War II veteran of the Army Air Corps. He served the city with distinction as auditor and city treasurer. And John M. Gillis, no stranger to you folks out there, a Marine veteran of World War II, and certainly a guy that served with great compassion as city clerk and county commissioner. You have both led by example, and we're grateful for your service to our nation and our city. I am mindful tonight also, as we gather in this great hall, of the men and women in uniform serving our nation, keeping the peace and protecting freedom all across the world. So to all of our veterans, those serving and those that have served, perhaps many in this room, if you're a veteran in this room, please stand. Thank you to all our veterans who have served this great country. My friends, I can report to you tonight with great confidence that the state of our city is strong. Made strong by the people in this room and beyond who care deeply about our community and its future. People who show a wonderful spirit of cooperation that belies the polarization that has poisoned so much of our national dialogue. People who disavow that cynicism that is perhaps today the largest single obstacle to progress. And people who look at our challenges not with ambivalence, but with a resolved focus to meet those challenges together as a community. People like Congressman Steve Lynch, who's in D.C. tonight to work on behalf of this community. A gentleman that works both sides of the aisle and has brought back, as the old saying says, the bacon to the district in so many ways. We're grateful for his service and all his work on behalf of the district. People like our state legislative delegation, these folks sitting off to the side here. They've been statewide leaders in the collective fight against addiction, and in just the past few weeks working together, they've approved two major bills that affect the city dramatically. One giving Quincy College the ability to give 4-year bachelor degrees, and the other providing tools vital to keep the downtown progress moving. It's not headline grabbing stuff, it's just real to the city of Quincy, and we're grateful for the results that they bring to us. So thank you, gentlemen. People like Charlie Baker, our good governor, a leader who understands that a public transportation system is vital to our future. It's no secret that the city's 4 MBTA stations and the Red Line trains that run through the city have been woefully neglected for many years. That's changing today thanks to the work of Governor Baker and the persistence of our legislators. The Red Line wasn't broken in one day, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. But the plans underway will lead to the kind of 21st century transportation system that this city deserves. People like our city councilors, true partners in so much of the progress we make, whether it be historic infrastructure funding, new school projects, or shepherding through major economic plans in a constructive, thoughtful, and transparent way. But beyond the big issues and major legislation, it's the work that councils do in our neighborhoods on a daily basis, responding to requests and concerns of our residents. And that's what's important in government. Thank you, councils, for your work. People like our school committee members, whose sole focus is ensuring that our young people have every opportunity available to them for lifelong success. Our schools today are strong, and that's not by accident. Thank you to my colleagues in the school committee. People like our county officials, Sheriff Bellotti, District Attorney Morrissey, Register McDermott, Commissioner Shea. Your work at the county level makes county government relevant to us, and your work is truly appreciated by the citizens of the city. Thank you to our county officials. People like our teachers, our firefighters, our police officers, laborers, clerks, and all that work on behalf of this community every day. I'm deeply grateful for your commitment and everything you do for the people of our city. People like our youth coaches, parents groups, neighborhood leaders, who give their time for no other reason than to make the city a better place. Our spiritual leaders, our nonprofit agencies helping those who need it most. Our labor and business leaders who provide the ignition to our economic engine. Thank you for being the dynamic heartbeat of this city. We truly are all moving in the same direction. That's a great testament to the strength of this community and our Commonwealth. And while we have much work to do, we should stand proud of our accomplishments together. From our finances, to education and public safety, to rebuilding our infrastructure, protecting our neighborhoods, and to fostering unprecedented economic development, this community is capturing this moment to leave our children and our grandchildren the strongest city it can be. Our time is now. Some 9 years ago, we faced the most serious economic crisis since the Great Depression. Property values were sinking, unemployment was rising, the future was uncertain. We made difficult choices, but we protected our core public services. Undaunted, we made investments, creating hundreds of jobs and building schools and new infrastructure at a moment when our economy desperately needed it. At the same time, we budgeted conservatively. And that work paid off. Today, property values in the city recovered. All the value lost during that Great Recession, and then some. Property values are rising faster here than almost any of the 351 cities and towns in the Commonwealth. And we're doing it while being mindful of our residential taxpayer. Unlike virtually all cities and towns, the city of Quincy stands well below the Prop 2.5 limits. In other words, we don't tax anywhere near the ceiling allowed by state law. While other places are right at that limit, and in dozens of places, they go beyond that and seek overrides. This year, we will be leaving some $20 million in excess levy capacity that is money we could be collecting from the taxpayer. Over the last several years, that's totaled more than $140 million in tax revenue that most places would have collected, but we have not. In fact, the city of Somerville recently passed a Prop 2.5 override to build one school. In Quincy, we're about to build our third school, while at the same time maintaining one of the lowest debt ratios in the state, and with average single-family tax bills growing slower than the average statewide since 2009. So while we continue to compare favorably to communities across the Commonwealth, That doesn't mean we ignore the reality of what rising property values means to the taxpayer. In the last 2 years, with the support of the City Council, we have used $6 million in revenue surpluses to help offset that burden. We must continue to be mindful of those factors as we go forward, focusing our attention on new commercial growth and continuing to budget conservatively. While we continue to make important capital investments in our schools, public safety departments, and infrastructure, the budget for the upcoming fiscal year will hold the line on spending with very few, if any, new programs. There's no better example of where these investments are yielding results than our Quincy Public Schools. The work of Superintendent Cristofaro, his leadership team, our school principals, staff, and most importantly, our teachers, create a learning environment for young people that is truly extraordinary for a district this size with such diversity. In 2016, the four-year high school graduation rate was 90%, well above the state average. 85% of our graduates went on to four-year colleges, and others went on to the work world, and many have chosen to serve this nation. The kids are better prepared, whether it's college or what I described than ever before, and it's truly due to the great work of our schools. Taken together, what this all means is this community, which is one of the most diverse districts in the entire Commonwealth, both economically and culturally, competes at the same level, and in many cases outperforms suburban districts around the Boston area. This is nothing short of remarkable. But what isn't remarkable is the formula for success. Small class sizes, continued investment in new and expanded programs, a workforce of teachers and administrators who are passionate about our young people, and a strong community support structure. Today, our school community partnership has more than 100 members of our business community actively involved with our schools and our kids. And finally, there's the unprecedented investment we're making in building new schools and improving the facilities we have. But since 2010, we've received more than $120 million in project reimbursement payments from the Mass School Building Authority. In essence, for just about every dollar the city spends, we get $2 back from the state for these improvements. Thank you again to our legislators. From the new Quincy High School to the new Central Middle School, 2 new roofs, boilers, windows, doors at many of our schools, to the wonderful campus improvement projects at North, we are making and will continue to make a generational commitment to our young people that they will learn and play in facilities that provide them every opportunity to succeed. This spring, we will break ground on a state-of-the-art new Sterling Middle School, much of which will once again be paid for by state grants. These projects, and Sterling in particular, aren't just about building new facilities for our young people. They also make a big change and a valuable impact on surrounding neighborhoods. When construction on Sterling begins, we'll immediately move on to our next priority projects. Feasibility study for a new Squantum Elementary School and a preliminary study for a new elementary school to serve the kids of West Quincy. In addition to educating our young people, I got to take a moment of personal privilege. I'm going into a different phase, but I can't help but say a couple of things about our schools personally. So, I am at school committee meetings as chairman of the school committee as mayor of the city. I never talk about my kids, nor should I, because it's not about my kids. It's about all our kids. But my twins, as I mentioned, are seniors this year at North, and my oldest is up at St. Joseph, Maine, on the dean's list, playing lacrosse. Abigail is about to choose which college she's gotten into. She's got to pick one. And Thomas is going to be going to the Marine Corps in July. And I can tell you, I got to tell you, as a father, not as mayor, not as chairman of the school committee, as a father, how proud I am of our schools, what they've done for my kids. Thank you. Outside of educating young people, though, there is nothing more important we do in government than making sure that every citizen feels safe in their person and in their home. I am proud to say that thanks to the, in great part, work every day of the men and women that wear the uniform of the Quincy Police and Fire Departments, we remain a tremendously safe city, one that responds to its residents in their time of need with dispatch and dignity. Today we have a great group of energetic police officers, both young and experienced, most of whom grew up right here in Quincy and care very much about its future. They are passionate about the city, and it shows. Over the last 10 years, crime is down in almost every category. Since 2008, burglaries are down 50%, robberies down 32%, car thefts down 37%, and overall incident reports are down more than 12%. Even minor issues, such as vandalism, are down 35%. Like any city, we're not immune to crime or a rash of specific issues from time to time, or even year to year. But the unmistakable trend is we're going in the right direction. Our fire department this year, for the first time in more than a decade, deployed its technical rescue vehicle, known as Rescue 1, on a full-time basis, thanks to gradual increase in training, funding, and manpower. Firefighting today is about so much more than protecting life and property. There isn't any kind of major incident imaginable that our firefighters do not respond to. Rescue 1 is an important tool for the department, an important resource for the residents during any emergency. These are the kinds of tools that we must continue to provide our first responders, and we must continue to work to improve how we respond to emergencies. That's why we took a fresh look at how emergency medical service was provided by the city and entered into a new contract with Brewster Ambulance. The new contract included provisions for more ambulances, new outreach programs, and the capability of those ambulances to be four-wheel drive to get through nights like tonight. I'm proud of the work today, and the average emergency medical response time has improved by more than 1 minute to under 5 minutes. In an emergency, that minute can be vital, and I'm proud of the difference our first responders are making in the lives of our residents in their time of need. This community stood as a national leader on opiate abuse prevention before it was a national issue. And our work is far from done. Hundreds of lives have been saved by our first responders with our First in the Nation overdose reversal program. Families have more treatment options today than when we started, and our substance abuse task force has created a model of community-wide prevention efforts. This year, with the city's first full-time substance abuse prevention coordinator, now working directly out of our office, we'll continue to expand our outreach, prevention, and interdiction efforts. Results of our work are not easily tangible, as this disease continues to spread across the nation, but we are making a difference. And while we continue to invest in our school system and our public safety departments, we must continue our focus on restoring, replacing, and enhancing that infrastructure that makes our community work day to day. For too long, public buildings, underground water lines, seawalls, and roads were left to crumble. The last 5 years, we replaced miles of water pipes more than a century old. We fixed failing seawalls, improved flood control, and we replaced thousands of linear feet of sewer lines. It's not sexy stuff, but it's important stuff. It's not enough, and we'll continue to move forward with an aggressive financing for capital projects that will only save us money in the long run. These are not projects that we can defer. Wall Street is increasingly bullish on the city's financial position, providing the city with the best bond rating it has ever had, and highlighting, quote, a very strong economy, strong budgetary performance, and strong management, end quote. With interest rates still relatively low and overall debt less than 6% of total spending, now is the time to continue moving forward with these priorities. We will submit to this council this year a comprehensive park improvement plan that will cost our taxpayers not one dime. I repeat that, taxpayers watching at home. The city's economic growth has created substantial available revenue in our home rule tax, our hotel room tax fund. That's a surcharge paid by visitors to our city. The new revenues will free up enough financing for the completion of the next phase of the Hancock Adams Green, the first steps in a transformational improvement at Marymount Park, the city's first dog park, and projects at parks across the city, as well as a tree planting program citywide. Our parks have always set this community aside from other cities and towns, and quite frankly, so do the cultural and recreational programs that add so much to our quality of life. Thousands of our young people take to our parks every year in dozens of programs offered by our recreation department, making it one of the most utilized and most active in the entire state. The same is true of our thriving Kennedy Center for seniors. With more than 5,000 seniors now enjoying new friendships and a long litany of programs. Our expanded transportation program, taking seniors to doctor visits and other appointments, makes more than 200 trips every week. That's a service a lot of cities don't provide, and one that I'm particularly proud of. At the Thomas Crane Public Library, visits in 2016 totaled 700,000. That's correct, 700,000. I'm sure some of them are the same people. More services are being offered at the Crane. The branches are open more hours, more items are being borrowed, and more people are attending programs. And those that use the Crane see that it's a clear symbol, really, of our city's rich diversity. On any given day in the library, you'll see people from all walks of life, all ages, and all ethnic backgrounds. The Crane truly is a cultural jewel. Today, we are indeed in the midst of a historic period of economic development, with more than $500 million in private construction over the last 3 years, bringing with it hundreds of new jobs and new residents who are spending their money at local restaurants, shops, and other businesses. It was not long ago during the Great Recession where private investment had almost dried up. There was very little construction, and worries about the economic future of our city were real. But the foundation that existed here, our historic assets, safe streets, wonderful natural resources, strong city services, and access to public transportation sparked a renaissance of investment in this community. Growth has its challenges. There's often frustration or the longing for the good old days when change arrives, but if we were not growing, we truly faced a very uncertain future, one that is potentially a whole lot worse in addition of the few new places that live in our city. We can and will harness this unprecedented growth to create the future that this city deserves. I've been around long enough to remember the battles long ago over the construction of Marina Bay and State Street South. The predictions of the apocalypse were something to behold. Well, I cannot believe anyone today would think that the State Street complex and Marina Bay communities were not great assets to the city. That doesn't mean anything goes. Our planning department and Department of Special Services do great work in guiding development in the right places. Look at the major projects that have taken place around our city. Bergen Parkway, Crown Colony, Quarry Street, Marina Bay, Quincy Center, the North Quincy T, and the Forbury Shipyard. These are the places we want new growth and development. And these are the places where it is happening. These new housing developments create new opportunities for additional workforce housing in areas across the city that today may need an economic lift. There will be more than $15 million available in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Money contributed by developers, both major and small, as a required part of the development permitting process. This year, we will identify neighborhoods and specific projects where workforce housing projects make sense. In addition, the new housing contributes to stabilizing the market demands. More supply, rent stabilized. Today, we're making more progress in our downtown than we have in decades, although we have much more work to do. This year, the next phase of development in the Hancock lot will continue to come together with this month's council approval of the real estate agreement permitting the city's first 15-story building to be built by Peter O'Connor. The major mixed-use program by LBC, which has been filed with the City Council, is in the permitting phase, and the planning today underway for our first major commercial development in the Ross area, led by Fox Rock Properties. It's certainly going to be a busy year. The last one was extraordinary. The first major project in the heart of downtown in decades. West of Chestnut was completed. A second major project led by Sean and Scott Galvin is underway. The completion of the first phase of the Hancock Adams Green provides new public access to the historic assets here at our President's Church. New restaurants are opening regularly. People like Kerry Lynch at 16C, Devin Adams at the Townsend, Jimmy Lang at Fuji, Leo Kecker at Alba and now Zeph, Sharon Driscoll and John O'Sullivan at the Iron Furnace, joining Tim Colton from the Fours and Neil Kelly from the Fat Cat. People who have invested in this neighborhood and have shown real skin in the game as we continue to move forward. It shows without question that it's not going to be one person or one developer or one investor that carries the future. It will be all of us. As we continue to capture this time of great economic development, traffic and parking issues remain the most frequent concern raised by neighborhoods throughout the city. In the coming weeks, we'll be before the City Council with a request for the first citywide transportation plan in at least 25 years, including traffic, parking, pedestrian and bicycle issues. With the assistance of a professional engineering firm, we'll be looking at signal timing, intersection improvements, neighborhood parking rules, pedestrian safety, and bicycle access in a comprehensive master plan that will be carried out in the years to come. So, my friends, let us stay the course. Let us not become people of indifference, but continue to work together and meet the challenges of our time. Let us continue that spirit of cooperation, allowing us to be a people of hope and generosity, so that each of our citizens may enjoy success and happiness. St. Paul tells us, if a man wants to boast, let him boast in the Lord. So tonight, I do not boast, but humbly report on our city. But let us together boast. Boast in the Lord. Let us thank him for the blessings of life, family, and freedom. We ask for his continued blessings upon the people of this city. May he grant us wisdom, mercy, and peace. God bless you, and God bless the city of Quincy. Thank you.